Rimuru's got ants in his pants and he needs to dance. Luckily for him, he's about to meet a mystical summon who very well might steal his slimy heart. That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime returns to blow your mind with another fantastic episode of the series where we finally get to see Rimuru meeting the person that he is destined to be with. She goes by the name of Shizu, and yes, she is the girl from the intros. Yes, she is the girl who was from World War II Japan, and yes, she's pretty freaking awesome. In fact, I would say that this entire episode right here was another case for why this is, I think, one of the best anime of 2018. Not being the typical generic fantasy anime that I expected it to be, and something else entirely. A very fun, enduring, and hilarious show that also manages to have some incredibly badass ideas and plays with the tropes. Basically, if you were getting sick and tired of the same old fantasy anime series, this might be the show for you. So what's this episode all about? Well, it's about Rimuru continuing to grow his guild. He has returned to the Goblin Village, and because all of these goblins are now buff and super amazing at everything, it's attracted the attention of some neighboring goblins. They want to join this group as well, which means Rimuru is going to have to name a lot more people, and he's going to be out for a couple of days. But while all of this is going on, we're introduced to 3 brand new characters who actually aren't brand new at all. They were those 3 adventurers we saw in the cave when Rimuru was leaving for the very first time. They're so unremarkable that honestly I can't really remember their last name. What they are, however, is a vehicle for the introduction of the character of Shizu, who, yes, is the summoned Japanese girl from World War II who has been brought into a fantasy world against her very own will, and unlike Rimuru, she is a summon, and for some reason she is continuously bound to this world, but just like Rimuru, she does have memories of actually being Japanese. This immediately makes her a very important character for the show, as it's someone that Rimuru can actually sort of connect with outside of all the weird, goofy fantasy monsters. These characters actually end up coming together through this big, ridiculous scene where Shizu is going with these adventurers to the woods, when suddenly they're attacked by all of these ridiculous giant monster ants, and that means action scene kicks in, and guess what? It's pretty freaking awesome. What I really love here is that they do show that Shizu herself is quite competent in combat. However, it is implied that she doesn't seem to be able to control her power fully, or maybe she is weakened herself. I'm pretty sure she has some sort of connection to this legendary warrior. She seems to resemble that character a lot, the one that's sealed away Veldora that was mentioned a couple of episodes ago, but as she's getting ready to be destroyed by this giant monster ant, suddenly Rimuru shows up using his brand new Black Lightning ability to completely fry this group of monsters. It's pretty freaking metal. Rimuru and the goblins take pity on this group of adventurers, and a lot of this has to do with the fact that Rimuru instantly knows who this girl is. He saw it in his fortune, and he knows that this is someone who's going to be very important to him in this world. And little by little, he tries to get a little bit of information out of her, and they even both realize that they're both Japanese. A lot of that owing to the fact that Shizu herself could actually tell some of his Japanese tendencies from the way that he actually acted. Basically, this entire episode was about bringing these 2 characters together, and it did a really good competent job of that. I can't wait to see how this relationship is going to blossom, and if the series is going to continue to subvert our expectations by giving us something that we could not possibly expect. The implication, of course, is that these 2 characters are probably going to end up falling in love with one another, but at this point, I'm not really sure what is ever going to happen in this show, as it always manages to give us some sort of fun twist on fantasy. So, what's the rundown on this episode of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime? Isn't Gobta the best character ever? I mean, just what a great, stupid side character. This one-off character who has slowly evolved into what I'm going to be calling the Butters of the series. He's that type of character who at first didn't seem like he was going to be important, and little by little he ended up becoming a big star, yet still retaining all of the qualities that made him funny in the first place. He's still just kind of a goofy sidekick character, but as the show goes on, he gets progressively more competent, and watching him evolve has been really great, as he actually seems to have some genuine skill. Now he can actually summon wolves into battle, which is awesome. The thing is, he doesn't really quite know how to explain how he does this, and watching him like try try to teach this to a group of goblins is really funny. I expect a lot more laughs from Gobta. That's just one of the many small things that kind of made this episode so damn great in the first place. The three adventurers, I'm sorry, I just do not remember their names. They were pretty one-dimensional in what they were trying to do, but honestly, the way that they played off of each other was very fun. And like I said, they just sort of acted it as a device to sort of bring Shizu into the story, who immediately I think is going to be a fan favorite character. She already looks like she's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to learn a little bit more about what it means to actually be a summon. They go into her backstory a little bit in this episode, showing how she was summoned to this world by this knight who realized that it was all a failure and it wasn't something that he wanted in the first place. And what's tragic about it is that unlike Rimuru, she isn't necessarily reincarnated. She's summoned to this world. She was taken away, never to actually see her family, her home, or even planet Earth all again. She just comes back as a heavily scarred girl who has just had her mind completely warped by seeing her entire home bombed, and now suddenly she's in a fantasy world. It's amazing she's not bonkers at this point. But the series is continuing to do what it's done from the first episode, which is build. This is a world which continuously gets larger with every single episode. It's shown superficially in the fact that the Goblin Village itself is getting much larger, but the introduction of all these new characters, these human characters, the fact that in every single episode it seems as if Rimuru has some sort of brand new ability, it just really shows that this show is just going to continue to escalate in a really fun way. I also love that they actually give these sidekick dwarves some names, and they actually all seem to have a purpose, having a skill, just like Kaijin, and it's going to be very instrumental to actually growing what I'm going to be calling the brand new Slime Goblin Empire. This was another great episode of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. It's without a shadow of a doubt one of my favorite shows this season, and one that I always look forward to. I'm going to give this episode right here a 5 out of 5. Yes, I loved it that much, and you guys definitely need to check it out. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. You can tell me all of them in the comments section below, and I will see you all next time. Thank you again for watching, and as always, stay down there, baby.